So we are on Interstate 80, and what we just drove under is a massive museum. It's known as the Kearney Archway Monument, and it was built in the year 1999 and opened in 2000. And as a Nebraska native, I have driven underneath this thing hundreds of times, but I have never stopped to check it out. So today, we're finally gonna stop and take a look at it, and I'm gonna take you guys with me. Yeah, that is massive. And the fact that they built it directly over the interstate is pretty wild. I think there's like a $15 entry fee, and yeah, I don't know. It looks pretty neat. Let's go check it out. And there's like a large park out here also. You can see that bridge there. There's a bunch of little ponds. A big buffalo. That's pretty neat. It's huge. Cool vintage sign from the Hammer Motel. The Great Platte River Road Archway.
For a moment and look at the characters along either side. At the bottom of the hill on the right, a Native American man is showing a mountain trapper the way to Fort Kearney. On the left, a pregnant pioneer woman and a man scramble up the hillside. At the top, another pioneer waves his arms as a wagon train passes by. I was born in the city of Kearney, and I grew up hearing legends of the Great Platte River Road. Since the 1840s, millions of Americans have passed this way, heading west to follow their dreams. Now, go up the escalator. About halfway up on the right, you'll pass a young woman sitting on a rock. Her name's Sally Hester, age 14. Here's what she's writing in her diary.
We sold our home and everything we could not take with us and joined the trail for California. I am keeping a diary of all that happens to us, all that we see, for posterity. The last goodbye has been said, the last glimpse of our old home on the hill. Now we are really underway.
Sally Hester's diary is a blog before its time, a day-by-day account of the great westward migration. At the top of the escalator, go through the covered wagon archway to see the first stop on that journey.
It's definitely kind of dark in here, y'all.
Welcome to Fort Kearney. Look around the place while you rest up. We got a long day ahead of us and likely more storms sweeping in over the prairie. I'll be your guide on the trail. My name's Jim Bridger. I've been out west 25 years now, trapping beaver. The fur trade's dried up, though, so now a lot of us mountain men make our living guiding immigrants like you headed out west. Homesteaders on the Oregon Trail, 49ers on the Gold Rush Trail to California, Mormons headed to Salt Lake City. All those trails meet up here at Fort Kearney. The U.S. Army built this fort back in 1848 to protect this road and as a supply post. Every one of you immigrants stops here to pick up provisions or mail. Y'all got big dreams, big fears, like this little girl I met.
On our departure from Ohio, some cried and talked on Indians and bears. I was 7 years old.
Well, I've tangled with some bears, but you won't see any along this trail. And the Indians have always shared this territory with us mountain men and showed us their game trails. The trail has other hardships, but you'll see those soon enough.
There's more to explore in Fort Kearney. Look for audio icons at the flagpole, blacksmith shop, and the carpenter's shop. To hear additional messages, tap your player against one of these icons.
It's like they've got a storm going in here. Sorry for how dark it is.
Bison or buffalo thundering toward you over the hill. Pioneers along the trail wrote about the huge herds of buffalo in their diaries and letters.
All right, we're gonna pause that. So here's a display of the 49ers. So the gold rush in California was in 49, and they came across the state in order to go over to California. This says in January 1848, a 4-minute Sutter's Mill found gold in California's American River. When news of the discovery reached the rest of the nation, it sparked a frenzied migration west. A little setup of dudes around the campfire with their old cast iron pot. This is a little bit about the Mormon Trail. And they've got all these carvings in here. Pause that if you want to read it. Yeah, that would have been rough doing that in the middle of winter. Cold feeties. Is that guy mewing? It's kind of wild to think that we're over the interstate right now. We've got a beat up old cart here. It says, as the Great Platte River Road rolled on towards the Rocky Mountains, the rigors of the trail began to take their toll. Ox teams buckled under the strain of hauling over packed wagons through sand and mud. Wary emigrants, despite desperate to lighten their loads, tossed out food, tools, and family heirlooms along the route. Death became the great concern. Accidents and disease like cholera hounded the pioneers, killing 1 in 17 who started out. Pressed to arrive at their destinations before winter set in, the surviving members had little choice but to bury their loved ones and continue on the trail. If you watched the last video that I did, we checked out one of those grave sites. It says Native Americans too suffered great losses. The wagon trains introduced deadly diseases and disrupted ancient hunting grounds that had sustained the tribes for generations. They've got beautiful murals all along the walls here. Piano. And then there's like an example of a grave right there. Yeah, the paintings in here are really nice. That's cool. Coming off the plains, probably going into the Rockies. So this kind of shows the trail as it goes through the state. So here we are at Fort Kearney. The green is the 49ers trail. The purple, where is that at? Oh, it's kind of overlapping. This is the California Trail, the red is the Oregon Trail, and the yellow is the Mormon Trail. And you can see how they kind of split up, and the Mormons settled in Salt Lake City. Oregon obviously goes up there, and then the others go to Sacramento, and there's the Donner Pass, if you guys have never heard about the Donner Party. They ate each other, so the story goes. There's some stuff from gold panning. It's an odometer for a covered wagon, I guess, to see how far you traveled. It's a reproduction. I didn't know they had anything like that. This says, before the Mormons settled there, most immigrants considered the valley of the Great Salt Lake a wasteland, and they hurried through on their way west. But by 1853, it had grown to 10,000 residents. Clara Brown, Jim Baker, and Brigham Young. Old coffee mill, tiny little .32 pistol. And there's all these little things that you can tap your thing on and listen to. But that would make this video very, very, very long. And we're back into the darkness. Oh.
Here he comes, boys, get ready! He's on time!
It's more, boys, it's more. Sal got on Fort Sumter last week. It's all in here.
Finally it is. Hey, Billy, how was it?
It's crazy.
Any problems? Hey, Frank.
No, I didn't.
Get him out of here. Good, get this out. Ready? Here there's a washout at Cold Springs. You better take the ridge trail, Bill. Thanks, boys. Good luck, son.
And then here's something about the Transcontinental Railroad. You can maybe see. Nope. Says in 1862, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Pacific Railroad Act, the new law which promised loans and land grants for each mile of track built, directed the Union Pacific and the Central Pacific to build the first transcontinental railroad across the United States. And there's a big bridge here, but you guys probably can't see it. Here's a reproduction of an overland stagecoach. It's pretty tight quarters. We'll go up to the second floor. Yeah, it's really dark in here. I don't know why they do that. I guess it gives the ambiance and the vibe. Looks like it's brighter up here. And there you might be able to see the bridge that's in here. Some artifacts from the railway. Oh, it's a reproduction now. 25-cent paper currency bill. I didn't know they did that. Old rail section. That's on loan from the Union Pacific Museum, so that's real. Says Union Pacific employees prepare for a new workday behind the Kansas City ticket counter, one of the busiest in the Union Pacific system. There's no date on the photo though. Union Pacific's Vice President Thomas C. Durant's private car was one of the line's most extravagant. The common rail travelers, on the other hand, squeezed into narrow wooden benches as they rode west. Yeah, that looks pretty fancy. So, this says 5 days after the celebration at Promontory Summit, the Union Pacific Railroad began regular train service to the west. Almost immediately, the covered wagon migrations across the Great Platte River Road slowed to a trickle. Trains were economical and fast. Immigrants lined up to buy one-way cross-country tickets that cost $50 each. They boarded the rail cars in Omaha, Nebraska, and arrived in Sacramento, California almost a week later. By the 1880s, the Union Pacific was carrying nearly 1 million people west each year, 3 times as many as those who had come across the continent in 25 years of covered wagon travel. $50 back then was a lot of money. And then this is about the Golden Spike. On May 10th, 1869, the 6-year race to unite the country by railroad ended when the ceremonial Golden Spike was tapped in at Promontory Summit, Utah. A telegraph operator at the scene wired the news to an eager country, touching off celebrations throughout the United States. The next day, the first through train of excursionists and emigrants chugged along the new track towards the west. And it's a photo of it. You can see they've got the 2 trains lined up, coming at each other. Oh, they got an old car in here. Check that out. And a tent. Too bad I can't spend the night in that tonight. That would be awesome. I don't know where I'm camping at tonight. We'll find a spot, but it's windy and I think we're in another red flag warning, so I don't know if I can have a campfire tonight. It says the Lincoln Highway. Cozy cabins, no locals, strictly tourists. I assume this is a Ford, but I don't know my old stuff like that. It's cool. Like back in the day, the frames, oh yeah, Ford on the, it says Ford right there. So like the frames and a lot of the stuff inside was made of wood. An old Oldsmobile. So this says, with the opening of the Lincoln Highway, Americans began taking their cars to the road for adventures. Many toured the country by day and camped by the side of the road by night. Sounds familiar, right? Towns hoping to attract tourists set up campgrounds where motorists gathered to pitch their tents, meet new friends, and brag about the miles they had driven. Soon, entrepreneurs offered private campsites with fresh water and showers. In time, they added conveniences like small cabins and hot meals, and the nation's roadside with its motels, restaurants, and gas stations began to take shape. You've got a Lincoln Highway marker right here. Oh, there's an old Cadillac over there. Look at that beauty. And it's like they've got a drive-in set up with the old speakers you hung on your window. That's cool. And a gorgeous Cadillac. In 1956, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, who had long favored better roads in America, signed the Federal Aid Highway Act into law. This bill set aside money to fund the construction of the interstate highway system, which we're over one of those right now. There are semis going right underneath my feet. Over the next 40 years, a vast network of interstate highways were built across the United States, connecting the country as never before. Interstate 80, America's first transcontinental interstate, which is what I'm standing over, it's I-80, traces its way along the Great Platte River Road and the old Lincoln Highway. It sweeps across the continent from New York to San Francisco. Along the way, it ties together 11 states and provides access to major cities and national parks. And there is still remnants of the Lincoln Highway that we could probably go see at some point. Like there's still bricks and everything. But yeah, gorgeous old Caddy convertible. Homeboy sipping on a Coke. Is that Jeff Carl's? It might be Jeff Carl's. Yeah, that's a beauty. I gotta get a picture of that. Jeff Carl's is the owner of our new local drive-in theater. They've got like an old diner set up. I'll get a cup of coffee from you. Oh, they've got windows. Check this out. There we go. There's the interstate. That's cool. I think that's the end of it. I think that's the end of it. Yeah. So it was a much abbreviated tour, I guess. We didn't listen to the whole thing. He said if you do this, it'll take you over an hour. But it's a place that you definitely need to stop and check this out. It's really cool. And the artwork is really neat. I'm curious who did all of that. Well, and the floor in here, like you probably can't tell on camera, but as we drove underneath the archway, you could tell that it, it's an arch, and they kept that in the floor. I wasn't sure if they made it flat inside, and I had no idea that it was 2 stories. But I think there's stairs back down. We'll go check out the gift shop. Frank Morrison, instrumental in raising over $60 million for his lifelong dream of a memorial honoring those who braved the Oregon, Mormon, and California trails. It's a long escalator. Yeah, it's a really cool thing to check out. Maybe there's more down here? I'm not sure. Yeah, and here's where we came in. There's the one that goes up. It's a really nice looking building. We definitely got to pick up a sticker or something. And give them our tour guide thing back. I'll come back with my wife at some point because she's never been in here. And at that point, I'll spend my time listening to the whole thing. They've got like a little example. You can get mining stuff in the gift shop and like mine, or pan. But I'm assuming it's all just rocks. But yeah, they've got a little setup in here. All right, let's find ourselves a sticker. I didn't know that. Oh, here we go. There we go, we'll get a small one. All right, we've made it outside. Take a look at some of these statues. Oof. These guys got arrows stuck through them, you see that? They ain't doing too hot. I ended up getting another sticker. Let's see if I can pull it out of here. This one is perfect because it's so true. I finally stopped. Yeah, what an interesting thing. I would highly recommend it. And yeah, there's grounds all over here and these ponds that you can kind of explore around. So there's a sign down here, and it's windy out here, but it says, when President Lincoln signed the Homestead Act in 1862, they promised us 160 acres of free land, but we have to work the land and build a new house. Thank good for this sod-busting plow and my 2 good horses. You couldn't make it out here without a good pair of pullers. The plowshare cuts through the roots of the prairie grass just deep enough to make the slabs of sod that'll need to be build the house. Yeah, they used to cut sod out and they'd stack it up, and that's what the house would be built out here when they first started coming out this way. I reckon that a 12 by 20 foot house will do us for now, but it'll take some weeks to build. Tomorrow the horses and I will turn more soil for planting crops. I see some thunderstorms. I see some thunderheads out west. Maybe some rain coming this way. It's hard work building a new life out here. It's the best chance for our family to get ahead, so we'll stay. That's Anton. Yeah. All right. Let's get headed back to the truck because I got to figure out where I'm going from here. All right. I found a spot. It's about an hour and a half drive from here. So I'll see you there. There's also a firefighters museum down that road, but that's not for today. Maybe we'll check that out at some point in the future though. America. Good as it's gonna get. Whew, Evo. Tailgate's a lot higher off the ground right now. Well, it doesn't feel too bad outside. It warmed up. Dang, it feels, I've definitely still at a bit of an angle, but that's all I can do here. Feels nice. It's 66 degrees, but it is pretty breezy. Low of 51 tonight. There is a plug in here, but I don't think I'll even plug in. Probably won't need to. And we're just hanging out. The museum was really cool, man. I should have stopped there years ago. Like I said, I've driven under that, like the sticker says, I've driven under there 1,000 times and I finally stopped. I don't know if we slap it on the cooler or not, considering there's not much room. One of these is starting to fall off, but yeah, hanging out. I've got something different for dinner tonight, something I've never made before, but we'll get into that. I should probably see if we're in any kind of fire warning. I know part of the state was in a red flag warning. The trees are blocking a lot of the wind over here, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. And it's supposed to die down later too, so let me take a look at that. Well, y'all know fire restrictions that I can find. And the wind is dying down. It's supposed to die down a little bit more as the sun is dropping. So we're gonna get a fire chooch and see if we can make ourselves some dinner on there. I don't have much wood left, but it should be enough to make dinner. Let's hope. I guess there's plenty of junk around here to burn too. Yeah, we got enough in here. Liquid death. You get out to these like less populated areas, it's much harder to find different things to drink, but I had a bunch of these in the cooler. I had the root beer one, I sipped on that already. Yeah, there's some train tracks over there if you guys can hear that. Let's see, probably need a plate. I'm gonna need my pan. Ouch, my knee. so high off the ground, it's like, gotta be careful getting out of it now. Whew. Don't need to break a leg. I think we've got enough hot coals that we can probably get started on this. So I picked up some like sliced steak. These guys, steak-em, sliced steak. And we're gonna try to make ourselves a Philly. I've never made a Philly before. I've had plenty of them. But we've got some provolone. I grabbed some pre-chopped onions and peppers, so we'll just cook those up. And that's probably all we're gonna need out of there. Got the hot dog buns left over from the last video. Ooh, cooler's getting warm. All right, gotta put this grate down. Start with the peppers and whatnot. Give that a second to warm up. We're just gonna do them all. I don't have a plastic spatula, so I'm sure some of you guys are gonna yell at me for that, but it's all right. Or wood. Ooh, it's hot. Put a little slap your mama seasoning on these. Just a little bit. Try not to burn those guys. Yeah. Steakums, 100% beef, 100% delicious. It says there's 8 of them in here. Oh yeah, they're definitely real thin. I am gonna go ahead and just put a couple of these right in there with the peppers. We'll cook it all together. Should be fine. Yeah, they're like paper thin. Well, here goes nothing. Maybe 3. 3 should be enough meat. These did not stay frozen in my cooler, but that's fine. It's hot. Maybe I should have done it separately. It'll be fine. That's gonna be a lot of peppers and not as much meat, but I didn't want to have leftover veggies. I don't know, this will cook up fine just like this. That meat's plenty done. Yeah, I almost feel like I should have just got a steak and cut it up myself, but it'll be fine. All right, I'm gonna put the cheese right in here and let it get all melty. Five pieces, or even six. Even six. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. All right, let this do its thing for a second. Toast ourselves a bun. Or two. I should have got hoagie buns, but I had these hot dog buns, so we're gonna have a lot. Probably could have done half of that, but you gotta work with what you got, right? That is an ooey gooey mess. Can't say my first attempt at cheesesteaks has turned out like I thought it would, but it still looks really good to me. All right. Those are crispy. Yeah, this definitely doesn't look like I expected it to, but as long as we can get it scooped onto a bun here. Oh man. That looks really good. It's a mess. It is an absolute mess. But steak and veggies and cheese, can't really go wrong with it. Get it off of there. The melty cheese is the best part. What do you think of that? Give you guys something to complain about that like to complain about my diet. All right. I brought chips, but I don't think I'm gonna eat any of those. We'll have at least one more of these. I might just eat it out of the pan though. That's great. And you can definitely taste the steak in there. I didn't think there was going to be enough, but there's plenty. Yeah. Hopefully that wipes out of the pan. We'll see. But that's a good looking cheesesteak in my opinion. It tastes great. I mean, you could have done it in layers. You could have made the steak separately. You could have made the pepper separately, and then you could have put just put the cheese on top of it. Some people like using Cheese Whiz. I thought about doing that, but that's great. And the meat's not bad at all. was a little worried about that with the way it looked, but it worked out perfectly. Yeah, a big hoagie bun would have made it better, I think. But you got to use what you got. If it's messy, it's got to be good. See if you can get that fire going again. It'll go. Just give it a minute. Well, wonder if the old pioneers on the Oregon Trail had cheesesteaks. I think that was really good. I was questioning my choices about halfway through, just based off the way it looked, but it tastes just like any other cheesesteak I've had. Philly cheesesteak, I don't know, I guess whatever you want to call it. Could have gone with slightly less vegetables, a little bit more meat, but overall, it was good. Now let's see. Let's see about this stuff. I don't need to eat another piece of bread. Might take some effort to get that cheese out of the pan. Probably just set it back on the fire and let it get warm. Wipe it out. Oh, it's coming right up for the most part. I'll take that. Mikey likes it. It was good. I'd do that again, and it was simple enough for a camping meal. Maybe using Cheese Whiz would be better, so you don't get as much of a mess in the pan. But that was tasty. Cheers, y'all. See if I can get this pan cleaned out. Well, it ain't perfect. You can still see a little bit of the gunk in there, but 99% of it came out. Not too shabby. I did the one of the tricks you guys told me about. It's been a while though, is to simmer a little bit of water in there. I did that, and it all just pretty much came right up. And I put a little bit of oil back into it. Yeah. Whatever little bits that are in there, I've got a thing of chainmail like that you use for cleaning cast iron, and that should get the other bits up. But honestly, probably just cooking it at this point. Looks good to me. All right, dinner is done. I'm gonna get the rest of this stuff cleaned up and enjoy the fire. Things creeping around in the trees back there. kind of tired, y'all. Oh. But we got to figure out where to stick one of these stickers on here. We got to put at least one of them on. Got that one. And then the little one. Probably try to put the big one on. The drank's empty. Like I said, one of these stickers is heave-ho. If you guys can see what's going on, this sticker is starting to peel off. So maybe we can help keep it on there, or, although that's not really going to work. This would fit on the side though. I think we're going to do this one over here. Got the old Just Mill It from the, I think that was from the Danish windmill. Yeah, I think that's where that one came from, which that one's starting to peel up a little bit too. They get beat up on here pretty good. I'll go right. Let's try to make it level. There we go. Haven't put a sticker on here in a little while, honestly, because it's getting so full. I should have, I think I say it every time, I should have put them in here closer together, but yeah, there we go. You guys probably don't see the back of this very often, but yeah, nobody cares. Yeah. Oh, heave-ho, it's heavy. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. That might go on something in the house. Maybe on my toolbox or something. We'll see. Put it back in there. Try not to forget about it. Probably fall asleep to a movie tonight, I'm guessing. As late as it is, I could start my new book, but do I want to read or do I want to watch a movie? I think I'm going to watch a movie. Alright, what do I got on here? Oh. I went to click on view details to give you guys the information on the movie, and I deleted it. Damn it. There's no way to get that back right now. I guess I could. I got 2 bars of 4G. Whatever, I'll watch something else. Some newer movie that had Will Ferrell in it. I thought it would be funny, but I just hit delete. That was dumb. Try not to do that again. They shouldn't have the view details and the delete button right next to each other. Okay. I'm going to watch a movie on Amazon Prime called Acid Man. It's from 2023. It's got 4 stars, 4 out of 5. And it says, Maggie tracks down her estranged father Lloyd, now living in the Oregon wilderness, obsessed with UFOs. A lot like, if you've been watching for a while, I like sci-fi and UFO movies. Together they attempt to make first contact. And it's Thomas Hayden Church is, I believe is the main character. Let me look at this. It's going slow. Yeah. And he was on Wings, and wasn't his name on Wings, Lloyd, or am I completely wrong? Right? Am I thinking of the wrong? No, Thomas Hayden Church. His name was Lowell. Yeah, and this is Lloyd. It would have been funny if they called him Lowell in this, so it would have been like a continuation of it or whatever. Anyways, he's a good actor. Give this a watch as the trains go by. Bug? Nope. Oh, y'all. Well, y'all, it was a decent movie, but not at all what I expected. No, it was more like a estranged father-daughter drama. Like it wasn't at all. I mean, yes, they were looking. He has an obsession with what he thinks are aliens off in the distance, but I made it through it. Not my cup of tea. It's not a bad movie, but I probably wouldn't recommend it personally. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was just a weird one. Not the sci-fi flick I had hoped for it to be, but all right. I'm going to bed. I better lock my door. So the boogeyman can't get me. Hear the train going by. Oh. Yes. Feels nice in here. All right, good night, y'all. Oh, good morning. Sun's coming up, poking me in the eye over there. It was a gorgeous night. Oh, it was like perfect sleeping weather, you know? 50-something degrees, windows open. Sleeping bag. Well, can you see me? It's a little better. Coffee time? Coffee time. Got the old Juan Valdez this morning. So I should leave that open so it dries. Juan and a muffin. The birds are being loud out there. I heard something. after I had shut the camera off and I was trying to go to sleep. I could have swear it was a bobcat, like, freaking out. I've heard some of them on videos. Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird noise, and I was gonna get up and try to capture it, you know, get it on video, but 5 seconds and I never heard it again. So you never know what's gonna be out there in the woods. Guess it could have been Chupacabra or Bigfoot's baby screaming. These views are the best, y'all. You get to wake up like this and just sit here and stare at the greenery and the birds and the trees and the lake in the distance. You guys can't see the lake. Yeah. Now that the weather's getting nicer, gotta try to maybe do some campfire breakfasts. Although, with my cooking skills and how I film it, the videos will end up 2 hours long. I don't know. We'll change it up though. Definitely want to do some better breakfasts. Not that there's anything wrong with this muffin, but I'm sure you guys would like to see that. Turn these dang old lights off though. That's not a great vibe while you're sitting here. I know you need it to see me. I guess it doesn't look too bad. And morel mushrooms are popping up everywhere. So I gotta start hunting. I'm going to put some time in at my house. You know, I got 4.5 acres I can look through. I'd be really, really happy if I found them out there, but we'll see. I'll give it a gander. And if you missed the trail cam video because it's not your vibe, got the old house rented out, so I'm gearing up to get started on doing stuff out there. We're gonna need to get the garage door opener put in on the big garage. That's like my #1 thing. And then I'm gonna finally get started on going through all the junk out there, the old barn that has been taken down, that's just laying on top of stuff that was inside of it. So I got to get a mini excavator with a grapple on the bucket, get a couple of dumpsters out there, start going through some of that. One of my neighbors wants to have some of that wood, the barn wood. I plan to keep a bunch of the barn wood, so I got to get that stacked up all nicely. And then I will definitely burn some of that stuff, but I'd like to get a bare minimum, like to get that one taken care of, because I look right out my front window and that's what you see is this collapsed barn. There is that junk pile behind the house that is crap too, but we'll see if we can get that all done in a week's rental of something. But either way, we're gonna start making progress, start trimming trees, all that kind of nonsense. And I can't remember who left the comment on the trail cam video, but we caught a bunch of raccoons on the trail cams. If you guys didn't watch that, you should go check it out. But somebody said it's official. You got to call it Trash Panda Ranch. So I might get a sign made up for Trash Panda Ranch. I think that would be a good one. Put a raccoon on like each edge of the sign. Trash Panda Ranch. Yeah. Cheers, y'all. Check that guy out. That's awesome. You eating my little bits of dinner off the table, buddy? Oh, where you go? Oh, I scared him off. That's a great way to start the day. Y'all, that it was cool to see that cardinal, that's for sure. Time to get out of here. Oh, don't let me forget my dang ramps. Oh, I can't even reach it barely. Well, y'all, I think that's about it. This was a fun one. I really enjoyed that museum. Would highly recommend you stop there. If you're driving through Nebraska on Interstate 80, you're going to drive right underneath of it, and it's worth the stop. Like I said, maybe eventually we'll get back out there and check out that firefighters museum. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to close this one out. Stay tuned for the next adventure. I'll see you in a bit.